In this video, we'll break down the most important signs you need to know, as outlined in the Highway Code. Let's get started.
Stop sign.
The sign indicates you must come to a complete stop before the sign and give way to all other traffic before proceeding.
Give way sign.
This sign indicates you must slow down on approach and give way to all other traffic nearing the junction. You don't have to stop if you are alone on the road.
No stopping sign.
The no stopping sign tells drivers they must not come to a stop, even momentarily.
No waiting sign.
This sign tells drivers that they must not stand for any longer period of time. However, you may briefly stop to pick up a passenger.
Maximum speed limit sign.
This sign indicates a maximum speed limit of 40 miles per hour. This is the maximum speed at which you may travel under ideal conditions.
Minimum speed limit sign.
This sign indicates a minimum speed limit of 30 miles per hour. Do not drive slower than indicated.
End of minimum speed limit sign.
This sign indicates an end to the minimum speed limit.
National speed limit applies sign.
The national speed limit in built-up areas is 30 miles per hour, 60 miles per hour on single carriageways, or 70 miles per hour on dual carriageways or motorways.
No overtaking sign.
This sign tells drivers they must not overtake another vehicle while this sign is active.
No entry vehicular traffic sign.
Vehicular traffic must not enter where this sign is present. It can, for example, be present on wrong-way motorway entrances.
Do not exceed vehicle width sign.
This sign tells drivers they must not drive a vehicle with a width over 2.0 in a batter past this point.
No U-turn road sign.
Do not make a U-turn when this sign is present.
Speed limit zone sign.
This sign indicates the speed limit is 20 miles per hour within this zone.
Speed limit zone ends.
This sign tells drivers that the 20 miles per hour speed limit zone ends, and the speed limit is now 30 miles per hour.
Give way to oncoming vehicles sign.
This sign tells driver that they need to give way to oncoming vehicles.
No through road sign.
This sign tells drivers that no vehicles are permitted past this sign.
Sharp bend to the right sign.
The sign warns drivers of a sharp change in direction to the right ahead, requiring them to slow down and prepare for the bend to ensure safe navigation of the road.
Double bend sign. First to the left.
This sign warns drivers of 2 consecutive bends in the road, with the first bend turning to the left. Drivers should reduce speed and be prepared to navigate both bends safely.
Crossroads ahead sign.
Warns drivers that they are approaching a junction where another road crosses the one they are on. Drivers should be cautious, look out for other vehicles, and be prepared to give way if necessary.
Staggered junction ahead sign.
This sign warns drivers that they are approaching a junction where side roads join the main road at different points on either side, typically in a staggered manner. Drivers should be cautious and prepared for vehicles entering or crossing the road from either side.
T-junction road sign.
The sign indicates that the road you are on will come to an end at a junction with another road, forming a T shape. Drivers must slow down, be prepared to stop, and give way to traffic on the main road before turning left or right.
Traffic merging from left sign.
Warns drivers that vehicles will be joining the main road from a junction on the left. Drivers should be aware of merging traffic and adjust their speed or lane position if necessary to allow a safe merge.
Road narrows on both sides sign.
Warns drivers that the road ahead will become narrower on both sides. Drivers should reduce speed, proceed with caution, and be prepared for the possibility of oncoming traffic or obstacles as the road width decreases.
Road narrows on right sign.
The sign warns drivers that the road ahead will become narrower on the right-hand side. Drivers should be cautious, adjust their speed, speed and be aware of the potential for oncoming traffic or obstacles as the road narrows.
Red route sign.
The sign indicates a road or street where stopping, parking, loading, or unloading is strictly prohibited during the times shown on the sign except for buses.
Bicycle warning sign.
Warns drivers to be cautious, reduce speed, and watch out for cyclists to ensure their safety.
Cattle warning sign.
Warns drivers that cattle may be on or near the road ahead. Drivers should slow down, be prepared to stop, and proceed with caution to avoid accidents involving livestock.
Side wind sign.
This sign indicates that strong side winds may be present on the road ahead. Drivers should be cautious, especially in high-sided vehicles, as sudden gusts of wind could affect vehicle stability. It's important to reduce speed and maintain a firm grip on the steering wheel in these conditions.
Slippery road warning sign.
Warns drivers that the road ahead may be slippery, often due to rain, ice, or other conditions. Drivers should reduce speed, avoid sudden maneuvers, and be cautious to prevent skidding or losing control of the vehicle.
Steep hill downward sign.
The percentage of 10% shown on this sign represents the steepness of the slope. Drivers should use a lower gear, reduce speed, and be prepared for the descent, as it may require more careful braking and control.
Steep hill upward sign.
The percentage of 20% shown on this sign represents the steepness of the slope. Drivers should prepare to shift to a lower gear and increase power to climb the hill effectively, being mindful of slower moving vehicles and the potential need for additional acceleration.
Swing bridge sign.
Warns drivers that there is a swing bridge ahead, which may open to allow water traffic to pass. Drivers should be prepared to stop if the bridge is open, and they should proceed with caution once it is safe to cross.
Traffic signals sign.
The sign warns drivers that they are approaching traffic lights. Drivers should be prepared to stop or adjust their speed according to the traffic signals ahead.
Traffic signals not in use sign.
The sign indicates that the traffic signals ahead are not in operation. Drivers should proceed with caution and follow any other road signs, road markings, or instructions from traffic controllers instead of relying on the traffic lights.
Tunnel ahead sign.
Drivers should be aware of the upcoming tunnel, reduce speed if necessary, and ensure their lights are on when entering the tunnel. It's also a reminder to be cautious and aware of the potential changes in driving conditions, such as reduced visibility.
Two-way traffic ahead sign.
The sign means that vehicles will be traveling in both directions. Drivers should be cautious, stay in their lane, and be aware of oncoming traffic, especially if they are transitioning from a one-way road or a dual carriageway.
Two-way traffic crosses road sign.
Indicates that there is a junction ahead where traffic crosses the main road in both directions. Drivers should be cautious, watch for crossing vehicles, and be prepared to stop or yield if necessary to avoid collisions at the intersection.
Uneven road sign.
This sign warns drivers that the road ahead may have an uneven surface, such as bumps or depressions. Drivers should reduce speed and proceed with caution to avoid potential damage to their vehicle and to maintain control over the uneven terrain.
Zebra crossing sign.
This sign alerts drivers that a zebra crossing is ahead. Zebra crossings are pedestrian crossings marked by white stripes on the road, where pedestrians have the right of way. Drivers should slow down, be prepared to stop, and give way to pedestrians waiting to cross or already on the crossing.
Dual carriageway end sign.
This sign warns drivers that the dual carriageway is about to end, and the road will become a single carriageway. Drivers should be prepared for the road to narrow, and they may need to adjust their speed and position to merge safely into a single lane of traffic.
Frail pedestrians warning sign.
This sign warns drivers that they are approaching an area where elderly or frail pedestrians may be crossing the road. Drivers should reduce speed, be vigilant, and be prepared to stop to allow these pedestrians to cross safely.
Hump bridge sign.
This sign warns drivers that there is a hump bridge ahead. Hump bridges have a steep arch which can obstruct visibility of the road on the other side. Drivers should reduce speed and proceed with caution, being mindful of potential oncoming traffic or other hazards that might not be immediately visible.
Junction on bend ahead sign.
This sign indicates that there is a junction immediately following a bend in the road. Drivers should slow down, exercise caution, and be prepared for vehicles that may be joining or leaving the main road at the junction, especially since visibility might be limited due to the bend.
Quayside or riverbank sign.
The sign warns drivers that the road ahead runs close to a quayside or riverbank, where there is a risk of driving into water. Drivers should proceed with caution, be aware of the proximity to the water, and take care to avoid accidents, especially in poor visibility or slippery conditions.
Roundabout or traffic circle ahead.
The indicates that there is a roundabout ahead. Drivers should be prepared to slow down, yield to traffic already on the roundabout, and navigate the circular intersection safely according to the road rules.
Level crossing ahead with barrier or gate.
This sign warns drivers that there is a level crossing ahead, which is equipped with barriers or gates to control traffic when a train is approaching. Drivers should be prepared to stop if the barriers are down or if the signals indicate an approaching train.
Level crossing ahead without barrier.
This sign indicates that there is a level crossing ahead where trains cross the road, but the crossing does not have barriers or gates. Drivers should approach with caution, look both ways for approaching trains, and be prepared to stop if a train is coming. Extra vigilance is required since there are no barriers to prevent crossing when a train is near.
Level crossing warning sign.
This sign is used at level crossings with traffic lights to instruct drivers on how to proceed. A red light means stop. A green light means the crossing is clear. It is safe to proceed across the tracks. If no light is showing, drivers are instructed to phone the crossing operator to ensure it is safe to cross.
Level crossing light signals ahead.
This sign instructs drivers to stop when the lights show, typically at a level crossing where trains pass. The lights usually include two red lights that flash alternately when a train is approaching, along with an amber light that warns of the imminent change. Drivers must stop when the red lights flash, indicating that it is unsafe to cross the tracks.
Risk of grounding sign.
This sign warns drivers, particularly those operating long or low vehicles, that there is a risk of the vehicle grounding on the road ahead. This typically occurs at sharp changes in road elevation, such as at the top of a steep hill or at a raised level crossing. Drivers should proceed with caution to avoid the underside of their vehicle scraping against the road surface.
Chevron sign.
This sign indicates a sharp change in direction on the road, such as at a bend or curve. The arrows point in the direction of the curve, and the sign serves to guide drivers through the turn safely. Drivers should follow the direction indicated by the chevrons and reduce speed if necessary to navigate the curve safely.
Permit holders only sign.
Parking is restricted to permit holders only. Do not park here if you do not have a valid permit.
Trams only sign.
This sign indicates that the lane or road is reserved exclusively for trams. No other vehicles are allowed to use this lane or road, ensuring that trams can operate safely and without interference from other traffic. Drivers of other vehicles must avoid entering or obstructing the tram-only area.
Buses and bicycles only sign.
Only buses and bicycles are permitted past this sign.
Contraflow bus lane sign.
This sign indicates a contraflow bus lane sign. Do not drive in the bus lane during the times specified under this sign.
Keep left sign.
This sign indicates traffic must drive to the left of the sign.
Pass on either side sign.
This sign indicates to vehicles that they can pass on either side to reach the same destination.
One-way traffic sign.
The one-way traffic sign tells drivers they must only drive in the direction of the sign.
School crossing patrol sign.
This sign tells drivers they are nearing a school or other place where children are likely to cross the road. Look for children crossing the road.
Maximum vehicle length sign.
Vehicles exceeding the vehicle length indicate are prohibited.
No left turn sign.
This sign tells drivers left turns are prohibited.
No right turn sign.
This sign tells drivers right turns are prohibited.
Distance to a stop line ahead sign.
The plate indicates the stop line is in 100 YDs.
Traffic queues ahead sign.
This sign warns drivers that queues are likely ahead, advising them to be prepared to slow down or stop.
Danger ahead sign.
This sign warns drivers of a concealed dip in the road, which may not be immediately visible and could be hazardous if approached at high speed.
Thanks for watching. Understanding these road signs is essential for staying safe and confident on the road. Whether you're a new driver or just refreshing your knowledge, knowing these key signs can make all the difference.
If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Safe driving.